Today we're going to talk about uh today we're going to talk about blue tape walks. Now, blue tape walks, sometimes people go their entire lives and never go through them. And so when you come across one, you may have bought two, three, four houses and never had a blue tape walk. Today we're going to talk about who's involved, what's going to happen, and what you can expect and what you need to do to be prepared for your first blue tape walk. We're excited to share this video with you. Let's get into it. Super excited to share this with you. It's so interesting that people talk about blue tapes, especially people in the building industry. They talk about blue tape walks all the time, like everybody's always done it. And you will not believe how many times I come across clients that are like, I have no idea what that is. What do I need to do? Who needs to be there? What's going to happen? So here we are. We're the video for you to know exactly why and what's going to happen at a blue tape walk. So we've been doing this for 22 years, over 1,100 successful closings in our career, and excited to share this information with you. If you're just meeting us for the first time, do help us and change that red subscribe button to gray, and it'll help us meet other great people just like you. Let's get into it. So when you get to a blue tape walk, those are typically when you're buying a new construction house, buying a brand new house, either with a speculative builder or a custom builder. And as it's getting ready to deliver, you get the opportunity to meet on site with the builder and the superintendent and the build team and really kind of go through the process and walk the house. They've kind of done this, and most of them have done a little bit of a walkthrough, but they've been working on it every day for several months now. And a new set of eyes is really refreshing. And so they ask you to come in and go, hey, we're going to do a blue tape walk and just kind of go through. Now, this is an interesting tip that not everyone shares, and that's why I brought these two things right here. One of the first things you could and should do, just in case, as bring some of your own blue tape to the blue tape walk. Now, not everybody does this. I have been through building situations where a builder didn't bring any blue tape to the blue tape walk. Now, that was a very unique situation. That was a very custom home. It had been completed for a few months and they just forgot. And so as a real estate professional, I had several pieces of tape and had several rolls of tape and kept them in the car. So I was like, no problem. I'm ready to go. Not a problem. It's in my realtor toolkit. We'll bring it out right away. But sometimes, and this is the one you need to be prepared for, sometimes you'll walk into the blue tape walk and you'll have someone holding it, like it's their precious. They'll hold it and they make it really weird and really awkward for us to ask for blue tape. And so they'll go and they're like, hey, yeah, I see something over here. I need you to go get me a little piece of, give me a little piece of blue tape. And they go, here you go. And they give you this tiny, tiny piece of tape, when in reality, they have this whole gigantic roll. And that's an intentional tactic that people will do to make it weird and awkward for you to come to get this tiny piece of tape for something that's out there. And instead, taking your own kind of solves the problem. Next, it's always good to start on the outside and work your way in. You want to make sure everybody gets there and is there working together. Do the walk around outside. If you want to make sure you take advantage and do that while the light is best outside. You want to walk around, take a look at the siding, take a look at the roof. Make sure everything, is in good order. Make sure that it's been caulked. Sometimes you can have certain places that get missed. You want to make sure and look for any cracks, in the foundation, because the foundation is one of the very first things that comes on a new house. And over time, it has all the weight and stress put on it, and it goes through some seasonality in its build time. And so you'll see cracks in some of the foundation and some of the blocks. You want to go ahead and fill that crack because water can get in there and expand and contract and cause larger problems and cause the foundation to shift over time. As another big thing with your final walkthrough, make sure that you have what's called the negative grade, a grade away from the house, that the land doesn't pitch back, towards the house. So you want a negative grade away from the house and putting water, how you're managing your water management. We're in the South and in a very wet region of the country. And so dealing with water and stormwater management is always a critical thing. Okay, next, you've started started your outside walk, you've kind of done your walk around, and you come into the inside. And now is when you're going to go room to room and really look for really anything that you're in question about. You want to check to make sure that the doors open and close and latch properly and line up properly. The windows open and latch properly. If you've got any of the tilt-in windows or double sashed windows, or if you have casements, you want to make sure that the casement handles are there. You want to go through this and go room by room. Try to stick together. Some people will separate, but sticking together, you get different people looking at catching different things. You can find different, there's going to be marks on the paint and scuffs where someone's kicked some of the trim, but looking at the paint, looking at the trim, making sure the doors are latching, things like that. Checking the paint, right? Making sure that the paint, we've had a situation not long ago where we had a client that they used two different sheens of paint in the same room, and you could tell one was high gloss and one was flat, and it was very evident which those were. So we had to have them touch up that room. So that's something to go through and check when you start walking through the interior rooms. That's next, and just getting a good baseline on some of those cosmetics that need to be pulled forward in your new house. Okay, next thing you're going to check on your blue tape walk is the systems. The systems in your house, the central heat and air, the water heater, the appliances are really important to start checking them out. Now, why is that? This is one of my favorite ones to talk about, and it's because they haven't lived life in this house. They're brand new, and they're brand new hooked up to the house. So it's very common to discover at the blue tape walk that things aren't hooked up properly or completely. It got started one day and then, for whatever reason, it just didn't get finished. So always check that the appliances are put in there. My favorite, I'll go ahead and tell you because it's our channel and we love supporting our channel and subscribers and viewers. One of my favorite tips I learned years ago to do, and I absolutely recommend this to my clients today, and you should do this, is when the refrigerator is installed, make sure the installer runs the line. There's a little line that feeds the water filter and the ice machine. Have them run that through a brown paper bag, like a old school grocery store type bag, and put the bag around the fixture where the line and the coupling go in. And when they turn the water on, they'll have it there. Now, the reason for this is they'll push the refrigerator back into place. And over time, you want to come back and be able to check that. So you'll pull the refrigerator back out of place, and that brown paper bag will leave a watermark, even if one or two drips is coming out. Now, if it's soaked, it's going to be a problem. But this is one of my favorite tips to share because you can tell if it's got a tiny drip, even if it's just dripping one drip per day, it could absolutely ruin the floors. It could ruin the subfloor. It could cause environmental issues and create mold. And so that's one of my favorite tips when you get that connection. If you get a solid connection and it gets moved in place, then it's in good order and you can move forward. You could do this same technique when you hook up your washer and dryer. Okay, next, you want to check the finishes. You want to look around and check the finishes in the house, the trim, the paint, the light fixtures, the countertops. You want to go through and see if there's any scratches, any things like that. Light fixtures, you may be like, well, the lights are there. Well, you want to look really close and make sure at the connection that the light fixtures are covering the hole that was there, and make sure that they're on center. Sometimes they're not screwed in all the way tight. Sometimes you can see a larger hole behind the back that needs a drywall and paint repair, and make sure that they're functioning. Okay, next, during your blue tape walk, you want to focus on safety. And this could often be overlooked. You want to make sure that all the windows and doors lock properly. Often you can see a window set in there and it's there if it's a 2-sash window, but does it lock? Does the actual lock go through and work properly? Same with the doors. You can see the doors that are hung and they're actually there, but do they match up? Do the deadbolts lock in? If it's a multi-point door, do those multi-points lock in, into the other door and into the door frame to give you that extra security that those type doors are designed to do? You also want to make sure and check for fire alarms and carbon monoxide monitors. You want to make sure that all those are in order, that the batteries are in order, and that they're hooked up. You want to make sure that particular safety feature is there for your house too, because you're not going to be thinking about that initially, and you definitely want to have that. Hey, if we're meeting for the first time, my name's Alex and I'm your friend in real estate in Nashville. We love sharing videos just like this with our experience and how to help you have a great home buying or selling experience. So thanks for joining us. Please choose to subscribe and drop us a comment below on what you found value in, because you've made it this far into the video. It'll help us meet other great people just like you and help make Nashville home for them too. Let's jump back into the video. Okay, so now you've gone through your first blue tape inspection, right? You've been going around, you've been pulling tape off, and you've been finding drywall dings and dots, and a sink that needs to be tightened up, or in a light fixture that's off center. So now what? What happens now? Well, you create a punch list, and you and your real estate agent will go through and provide that list to the agent. But you want to keep your own list as well, right? Make sure you're keeping a list on your phone, taking pictures of the items, taking pictures of the really significant things that are there, and or take a picture of the whole list that you submit to the builder. And then they'll have the crews run back through in the next few days, and they'll go right through and start to bring all that stuff forward. So right before closing, somewhere we put it in our business somewhere between the day of closing and maybe even 2 days out, you'll get to do another walkthrough and kind of the final walkthrough to make sure that those items have been repaired. While we've been shooting this, we've had something come up, and this is interesting. That what happens? What happens if we go through the punch list, we go through the blue tape walk, and we find something that needs to be repaired that will not be completed prior to closing? What do we do? I don't know. What do we do? Well, there's several different options. And it really comes down to you and working with your builder and how comfortable you are with the process. It could be something as common as, say, there's a damaged garage door, and there's a garage door that's damaged that's really causing, an issue. It needs to be completely replaced, but it's on back order for 6 or 7 weeks. It's going to do it. You've got an invoice that it's going to come in, and that it's been paid for, but they're just going to wait for that vendor to do it. That's a conversation you have with your agent and all of your advisory committee, as it is, to go, hey, are we comfortable to go ahead and close with this being outstanding? Yeah, we are. Or it may be something significant like the central heat and air system that's not working and functioning properly, and then that would make the house not as enjoyable and as livable, and as comfortable as you want it to be. So you may not be comfortable moving forward with that, or a structural issue or an environmental issue that you may not be comfortable moving into the house at that time. And so then that's a different thing. You work with the builder and you work that out on when that's going to be done and how you're going to do it. You can also solve that problem, find out how much it's going to cost to repair it, and then put a little bit of that plus an overage in an escrow account and have that saved until that repair is done. And then that money can be released to the builder. So there's lots of solutions. You don't have to close. You're not forced to close by any means, but you can work through these things, work through the unique situation of the repair that's still outstanding, and find a comfortable solution. Well, that's it. Those are our tips for your blue tape walk, how to best be prepared with going into your first blue tape walk. Tell us in the comments below which one you like. Tell us some of your stories from going through a blue tape walk and what you discovered. We love to hear from you, and we always like to comment, but we love that you've made it this far into the video with us. And listen, we are your friend in real estate in Nashville. We'd love to help someone buy or sell a house in Nashville, Tennessee this year. Please introduce us. Please connect us with them. But if you're looking to make somewhere else home, we also have a national network of our friends across the country that we'd be happy to make an introduction to that can help you with your blue tape walk. So thanks for joining us. We'll see you again. And until we connect again, keep on keeping on.